to the Adventure of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
Wake up, America! It's time for the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY.com, West Palm Beach's #1 internet radio station. Here's your host, the Pipeman.
Lies! Mix truth with lies! It's all black magic! Mixed with bad habits! Oh, isn't it tragic? I'm a patient, going apeshit on the 4th floor in the psych ward. I've been baptized, franchised, Americanized.
This is Pipeman here on the Adventures of Pipeman W4CY Radio, and I'm here with
Daniel Oliver from Nothing More. How are you, Pipeman?
Oh, I'm fucking phenomenal. And don't tell any other band that your set so far on Shiprocked fucking blew everybody away, just to be blunt.
No.
Right off the bat.
Oh, man, that means so much to me. You know, Parkway Drive blew me away last night. And The Ghost Inside. And I was like, there's no way we're better than these two bands.
Oh.
And they're more handsome than us. Oh, I thought it was just a slaughter fest, but... Yeah.
I like how you brought all these different people up on. Like,
yeah.
Oh, my God. And I remember I was sitting there for a second. I wasn't looking up for a second. I heard Heidi's voice, and I was like, fucking A. And that was badass, you know? And just everybody you brought up. Like, it was like, wow, this is really cool. This is the way it should be on the boat.
Yeah, I felt we were super honored that, you know, like Sonny did it. We all grew up listening to POD, so he's
he killed it.
Yeah, he killed it. Yeah, and Heidi, like the energy she brought was just otherworldly. I'm like, what? You know, I loved it. And then we've had Brandon on stage before. We adore Brandon for sure. And then who was the last one? Eric from I Prevail.
Oh, yeah.
Super rad.
And so funny because he was almost in disguise.
Yeah.
You know? So
what was he wearing, a cowboy hat?
Yeah.
And I think he had a big fishbowl margarita. I was like, this is perfect.
And it's so funny because this girl that was with us, she was just talking about I Prevail before he came on. And she didn't know it was him when he came on.
Okay.
And I'm like, you realize you were just talking about that dude up there. Who is it? And I'm like, you don't know?
Yeah, that's funny.
Right?
Good disguise.
So you mentioned Parkway Drive. So funny story. I don't know if I should say this on the air, but
we're going there.
We're going there. So you know where Winston at one time said, you know, something like, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but this is a perfect song for this.
Oh, yeah.
And that the circle, for the people listening, I can't see this, the circle pit thing. So I was there, right where it would be, because I was hoping. I was hoping. And then I got elbowed and shoved by this big dude, like, right away. And I shoved back. It was the security guard.
Oh, are you serious?
Yes.
Lord, what happened?
Nothing. He was just getting in.
Okay.
I got to give, like, big kudos to security, okay? We do these festivals. There's like 20 big dudes. They can't stop shit. This one dude shut it down in like 2 seconds.
Wow.
Like just came in and shut it down. Everybody was cool the rest of the time.
Wow.
Like
it's amazing.
It is.
Yeah.
And then at that point I walked out and then I went upstairs to look from the balcony. I'm like, oh, fuck me. And that's when Winston came in.
Oh, okay. Nice.
I came down on the floor. I'm like, oh, well, I missed that.
Yeah. Shit. Oh.
But you can say that. You can say whatever the fuck you want.
There we go.
But how many times have you played Shiprocked?
It's our 4th.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how do you, I've been asking everybody, how do you like playing Shiprocked compared to like a festival?
Man, I mean, it's way different. Like, festivals, a typical festival, like, is a much more massive stage than you're ever really used to playing. And the crowd is, normal club show crowd at max will be like 5 feet away from the stage.
Yeah.
Some festivals, there'll be like a 20-foot gap, you know. So it's just different, you know. You have to, our manager always told us, you know, like perform like you're playing for 20,000 people, like big movements, you know. People can't see when you just like move your hands around your body. So
Yeah.
it really, you just have to turn it up a little bit to make it work at a festival. But I'd say since this is a festival, like the size of everything, stage, where the crowd is, like it's all perfect. Like the deck is so cool because it's like 360 degrees of people over 3 levels.
Right.
You know, like it's one of the neatest stages you'll ever play, especially if you're in the sunset slot, you know, and that rarely
That would be
happens.
really freaking cool.
Yeah. So I love it, you know, and the fact that everyone is here on board, you know, it's like we're camping together, but one step way nicer.
Right.
I think it just changes the vibe, you know, everyone's in a better mood and just having more fun in general. So
One of the things I love about it that I've noticed is everybody's happy and positive. There's like no negative comments like you have at a festival where people are bitching sometimes. Like nobody, I haven't heard one person bitch at all.
yeah, that's amazing.
Right?
Yeah,
Like,
I haven't either now that you mention it. Like,
see?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, and I think that's the most amazing part because I would have thought that would have been cured after COVID. Like, I remember coming back from COVID and people were still bitching. And it's like, dude, you didn't have live music for fucking 2 years. I
Yeah.
didn't give a shit if some kid got up there with a recorder. I would be fine with that too.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
as long
yeah.
as I had live music. So I think this is like, could teach the rest of the world something, you know, about
Yeah.
how we should be and appreciate what we have and how cool it is. Whether you have every band you want or everything, it's still like a badass time no matter who's playing, I think.
Yeah. Oh, I think so too. And just the fact that all the bands are walking around too, like that's so
Right.
cool. Even being in a band, that's so cool. You know?
You know what I found, and I want to ask you if you found this as the artist. I've been watching around, and I found a lot of people to be really cool to the artist. Unlike at a festival where they would probably swarm you,
Yeah.
where they're just like saying, "Hey, what's up?" and walking by, like cool and stuff, and where you can hang out.
Yeah, totally. It must be because there's almost like a guarantee. If you miss someone, you'll probably see them again. You know, you have 7 days. There's nowhere to go. Whereas, yeah, at festivals, there's just like this kind of crazed mentality, like famine. You know, it's like, oh, I've never seen it before. I'm never going to see him again. You know, I'm going to jump this
Yeah,
fence
yeah, yeah.
and steal a piece
That's
of
a
his
good
cloak,
point.
you know, like Jesus.
I know that's
Yeah.
a good point.
Whereas
too.
here, yeah, everyone's just so cool. And even a lot of people are apologetic. They're like, hey, we're not supposed to harass you. And it's like, no, let's chill.
See, it's cool that they even say that and have to respect like that because they wouldn't be like that at a festival.
Yeah.
They'll like, I've seen them try to crash backstage. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. I've met a couple people that have crashed backstage, and I entertained them. I was like, man, y'all had the balls to come back here, so, let's get you some drinks.
In
And they
my
were
old
cool.
days, I probably would have done the same thing.
Yeah.
But when I see media people do it, it really bothers me. Like,
Yeah.
one time, here's a funny one, okay? Imagine if this happened. One of the festivals, I think it was Louder Than Life, wasn't it? I think somebody went backstage and walked into Rob Zombie's dressing room or trailer
Wow.
without knocking, without asking, and asked him for an interview.
For an interview?
For an interview.
Wow.
Can you fucking believe that?
Yeah,
a media person.
That's pretty wild.
You're stupid.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
I'm just
pretty
going to tell
stupid.
that media person, you're an asshole and you're stupid.
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah.
You know, like, you're supposed to understand as a professional, this is their safe zone.
Yeah, oh, totally.
You know? I never get
And you're
that.
working too, like
Right.
there's
I don't get it.
that's why, yeah, for a fan, it's totally forgivable. It's like, hey,
Right.
you made it.
They're
man,
a fan.
Let's get
you
you
know?
a trophy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That earns a trophy.
That earns a trophy.
You
Yeah,
know?
you're coming back here to hassle me with questions.
Media earns ripping their badge off.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
So what else you got going on for 2025?
We're about to, once we're done with this, we'll have a couple months off, and then we're heading out with Disturbed and Daughtry.
Nice.
Big, long, full U.S. tour. We're super stoked about that. After that, we have a couple weeks off, then we head to Europe for the festivals. I'm so pumped.
Which ones are you doing in Europe so I see if I'm going to be there?
Oh, man. I really can't remember any of them. I'm pretty sure we're doing Rock 'em Ring, Rock 'em Park. We're doing a festival in Helsinki. I don't even know if I could pronounce the name of it. I think we might be doing Download in the UK.
I do Download. I do Bloodstock. I do Hellfest.
Okay, we're not doing Hellfest. I know that.
I might do Vakken.
Okay.
And I might do Dynamo.
You doing Grass Pop?
I did it last year.
Okay.
Because every year it's the same weekend as Hellfest.
Gotcha.
So last year I was like, cool, it's not the same weekend. I can do both of them. But this year, again, they're the same weekend, and Hellfest is in a whole nother world.
Yeah. Is Hellfest your favorite?
Well, my favorite outside the U.S. I'll say that so
Right.
nobody gets mad at me.
Yeah. I agree with that. Yeah, the favorite out of the European festivals for us, I think, is Hellfest.
Oh, it's unbelievable. I went to that one, too, that was right after COVID, where it was 2 weekends, 7 days.
Oh, wow.
360 bands.
Wow.
One weekend, it was 104 degrees. I was in the press tent. You know how the press tent's all black?
Yeah.
And I remember I was just doing my interviews outside by the little pool area, but John from Skillet and I did an interview inside. I mean, my eyes were burning during the interview because the sweat was just rolling down, and, you know, like there's nothing you could do. You're in the middle of the interview, so my eyes are like, I couldn't even see them anymore.
Wow.
You know, it was so bad.
Yeah.
But worth it because it's Hellfest.
It's Hellfest, yeah.
And that sculpture of Lemmy is like insane.
Yeah, very cool.
But I loved like just the whole decoration of the place. And
yeah, they have permanent structures, and it's all like this metal, like rusty, you know, post-apocalypse metal fabrication, which is totally my style.
And then you have the
there's
fire at night, like you feel like you're in hell.
Yeah,
you know,
totally.
it's and you know what's cool too is like how they have besides the main stages, you have the different stages that are genre specific. Like you have the black metal stage, the death metal stage, the hardcore stage, you know, and it's kind of cool for some people. Like I like all of it, so I'm all over the place. But some people can just hang there all day and not have to walk the whole grounds. I walk the whole grounds, but some people don't want to. So like they can see all the bands they want to see in one place.
Yeah.
You know?
Really cool.
And it was kind of cool that year too, Metallica headlined. And I remember Carcass was playing at the beginning of Metallica, but they were like at the death or black metal stage, and Metallica was main. So I was like standing outside listening to Carcass in one ear and Metallica in the other ear.
Nice.
Right, because I didn't want to miss either of them.
Yeah. It's like the old school TVs with picture-in-picture.
Right,
You know?
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
watch the game and Friends.
What do you think of doing the festivals in Europe and the UK opposed to over here in the U.S.?
The festivals here, you know, have definitely gotten really good.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, Danny Wimmer does a great job.
Danny Wimmer's, I think, just totally elevated the festival game.
Yeah.
You know, the neat thing about Europe is that because there are so many of them happening just in the summer, it's like every big band of the last 40 years that can still tour is touring.
Right.
You know, so you just run across like just more massive names, I feel like, in general. But I mean, European food is better than the U.S. That's the other big thing.
Oh, the food at Hellfest is fucking great.
It's so good. Or you go to like Rock'em Ring, Rock'em Park, and it's like the backstage was designed by Mercedes. You know, it's
That's
like,
wild.
Where are we? Like, this is like the most posh, you know, kind of backstage feeling I've ever had. So, I mean, other than that, it's pretty much the same.
Right.
But
Well, that's because of Danny Wimmer, I think. Because, you know, I think before Danny and the festivals getting bigger and bigger, he tried to follow that European model, I feel.
he did.
And everybody else really didn't do that.
Yeah, right. You know, as long as, like, for the artists, like, as long as you have good catering, you know, not a room with, like, food with flies all over it.
Yeah.
And at least, like, some sort of spot that's your own with an air conditioner, you know, like, you're pretty good, you know. But, yeah, you get off the beaten path and do some of the smaller fests, you know, and you run into some pretty funny situations, for sure. But, I mean, I love playing a rodeo ring, too. You know, we hit one of those this last year, and I had a blast.
Oh, that's
you know?
cool.
I kind of wish there were more of those sometimes,
That's fun, man.
Yeah, you know, like we played Elko, Nevada this last year, and it was it was just like the town's like yearly festival. You know,
right.
I think the next Light of Country artist was headlining kind of thing, you know, but there were 5,000 people there just.
And how do they receive you at that type of environment? Because it's not really usually your type of music at that environment.
Totally. And they're it's like the town's there. So there's old people and just people that obviously don't listen to rock and metal, you know, but it was amazing.
I love it.
Yeah, we got to do another one. I forget where we were. We were somewhere in Wyoming, you know, same thing. And like right before we play, I'm watching like the like they were judging sheep and goats. You know, I guess it was the 4-H club, you know. And like,
oh, man.
Like, oh, man, I've never gotten to pet a prize-winning sheep and then 5 minutes later, rip a set. So
That's wild. That reminds
Fun times.
me of way back when, before the metal punk crossover thing happened.
Yeah.
We had the first ever metal and punk show in L.A., okay, that ever you had bands together. It was at the Sun Valley Sportsman's Lodge in Elks Lodge.
Oh, yeah.
And you had Possessed, Dark Angel, and Savage Grace on the metal side, and you had COC Pre-Pepper, Suicidal, and the Descendants on the punk side.
Wow.
And there was no security. First show ever where we were both in the same building, and it was massive mayhem.
That's cool.
You know?
Teeth missing, lots of black eyes after it.
Oh, yeah. There was no safe place to hide. If you weren't into that shit, don't be there.
Yeah.
You know? So it is cool, like, to play these unique, different venues, right? Like,
Totally. Because nowadays, too, like, so many tours are just like Live Nation only, or like, you end up in a lot of their venues, and they're great. I'm very thankful for Live Nation, just because it's like, every now and again you'll hop into an old theater, you walk in and it's like, oh, this place is beautiful, and then you go backstage and it's like one toilet for 60 people, like, because it was built in 1890. It's like, come on, man. So but the unique stuff is definitely fun for sure.
Yeah.
So
is there anything else you want to let the listeners know that's coming up, or anything you want them to know, that we haven't covered already?
Just thanks for all the support. House on Sand just went to radio, so call your stations in. Call your stations and request a song.
Nice.
We'll be dropping Free Fall later this year, and we've already started working on the follow-up to Carnal. We're looking forward to getting everyone new music as soon as possible. So hopefully we won't have any more 4 or 5 year gaps in between records. So
there you go. And so, can you tell me, because this won't go till after Shiprocked, if you're going to do more surprise fun in your other set on Shiprocked?
Yeah, we are. The guest singers are coming back and rocking with us.
Nice.
So it'll be good. And we switched the set list up. We're playing a couple of songs, just some older songs that were fan favorites that just by the way of the set list, always having to like put newer stuff in it, those songs have kind of fallen by the wayside. So we're bringing back some oldies but goodies. So another cool thing about kind of playing to almost the same crowd twice,
Yeah.
You get to change it up. So it's
right.
gonna be fun.
And that's exciting for you, because sometimes, you want to change it up because it makes it more fun for you than playing the same thing over.
Totally. Like, we're bringing The Great Divorce back in, and that's one of the more proggy songs we've written. So, like, from the player's aspect, it's just a ton of fun to play. But, it's been 4 or 5 years since
that's what it's about.
Since it made sense to put it in, because if we don't play Jenny, we're gonna get hung. So, you start kicking out like all the hits once you start putting in B-sides. So.
Yep. Well, that's the cool thing about Shiprocked then. So here we go.
Yeah, and they give us long sets too. So it's a good time.
Well, I can't wait. And man, I'm pumped you're here. It was a great first set. I'm sure the second one's gonna be just as badass. And thanks for being on the Adventures of Pipeman.
Yeah, man. Thank you, Pipeman. You're always a treat.
Well, thank you.
Hey everybody, this is Daniel Oliver from Nothing More, and you're listening to the Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
Thank you for listening to the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.